Namaskaram. Wow. So I took Samyama with Sadhguru at the Isha Institute of Inner Sciences in April of this year, which is 2023. And it was my most profound experience yet when it comes to Isha yoga programs. But it is my most profound experience of my life to really give a true perspective of it. So, wow, where do I even start? Well, I guess I'll start with I really decided about 10 months ago, almost a whole year now, yeah, actually more like 11 months, that I was going to really get back to daily yoga, getting my practices, consistently in my day-to-day, because I just know that that's where I find the most inner peace, that's where I find the most inner joy, is when I'm consistently nurturing these practices. And so, there was stuff in my life that was, I don't want to say taking priority, but it was taking a lot of time in my day-to-day, which sort of made my practices less frequent. They weren't necessarily every day, they weren't all every day. And for a couple of years during the pandemic with work, I was really trying to find that balance, and it was really difficult. So about 11 months ago, June 2022, things in my life kind of, separated themselves a little bit, and that allowed me to have a little bit more time and freedom. And I knew with that time that I wanted to put it back to doing my daily practices. I wanted to get back to nurturing my consciousness. And I did. And throughout the year, I started to see that the Samyama program was being offered in India. And I was really considering applying for that and going for that. I did not end up doing that because things just did not seem to line up very well. I wasn't financially going to have enough money to be able to get to India and take the program there. And the pre-Samyama meeting was also not anywhere near where I lived. So I was going to have to drive like 5 hours on a day that really didn't work that well for me. And so it just didn't add up. And I said, it's okay. When the time is right, I will know, and I will, be ready for it. And it was only a couple months later that I heard about the program that was going to happen in the United States at the Isha Institute. And everything lined up for this to happen for me. The pre-Samyama meeting for like the Northeast was in my hometown. It was in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. That's where I grew up. I only live a couple towns over from that. It only takes me about 15-20 minutes to get there. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is now this is it. Like, I have the time, I have the flexibility, I have the money to get there, I have, everything is lining up where I can now take this program. I've been consistent with my yoga practices. I've really been, working on myself and feeling amazing. And I asked myself, is there any reason that I should wait? And there wasn't. So I just knew that this was the time, that I felt ready. I felt that, things were pushing me towards this. And so I took the meeting, and I went to the meeting, and there's a lot of preparation that you have to do for Samyama. You have to go through a lot of programs beforehand, and you have to become regular with those practices. And so I had learned all those practices. I learned yogasanas in December of last year. So, I had been practicing that for like a month and a half already before the meeting. And so everything was already sort of set. And, I just had to add in a little bit more of the prep work that comes with it. And I felt, even though it's a lot of daily stuff, I could do it. I have the time, I have the flexibility, I can make this work for sure. Whereas a lot of other people, I felt it probably was a bit of a challenge to make it all work, because if you're working a 9-to-5 job, that's a lot of hours in your day. You have to do it outside of that or in between that, and that can be difficult, especially if you have a family as well. That can be very, you have to be very conscious of where you have the time to do it. And this is the type of program that this is your priority. Samyama, if you're gonna do Samyama, that is your priority. Everything else is below it. And everything you do should be a part of it. If you're going to work, you're going to work because you're going to Samyama. If you're going to sleep, you're going to sleep because you want to go to Samyama. And that's just the way you have to arrange your life to become ready for this. Because this is it is a profound possibility that you may experience and continue after the program. So everything had lined up. I could attend the meeting, I could do the prep work. I really did not skip a beat with the prep work. I did everything every day. My diet was tuned in, the practices happened, and I was really getting myself ready. And so when the time came to attend the program, I felt really good about it, and I got there, and I'm not going to go into the details of what happens at Samyama, because you just need to get yourself ready and go for yourself, and just be with Sadhguru, just be with the processes, and things will happen. And let's just say that things inside of me started unraveling and moving, and up until now I've lived in a state of just peace and joy and happiness, and there's been moments where energy is stirring up inside of me, but nothing like what was unleashed at the Samyama program. I now feel like I'm in a state of just constant awareness and just peace and stillness and joy, and there's just I feel very untouchable. Like nothing can happen outside of me that is going to disturb the inside of me, and it's an immense feeling of freedom. And it's continues every day. There's some sadhana that you continue after the Samyama program, and when I do those, when I sit for the Samyama sadhana, it continues. The program is not over. It is not just a 7-8 day program. It becomes a life process for you, and this is something that I will never ever drop again. I will never go into those little ruts that I did before. This is something that I know has been a big experience for me, and it's time for me to now continue to intensify myself and to move in this direction and, you know, play in the world only as it needs, or only as I need to in my life, but just always coming back to the truth, always coming back to that state of truth. So yeah, I had a very intense experience there. You know, intense for what I'm used to. So, you know, everyone's gonna have different experiences based on what you have going on inside of you, you know, your karmic structure, all that, this and whatever. But this is like a public service announcement baked into this, where you also need to experience Samyama. You need to prioritize, you know, your sadhana in your life, get your diet aligned, you know, and get yourself intensified, because, you know, we only have a certain amount of time to, you know, figure this whole thing out, to experience this whole thing. And Sadhguru is only going to be here for a certain amount of time as well. So we need to really prioritize the things that are important to us, which, if you're watching this video, it's our inner nature, it's our true nature, it's everything Sadhguru has taught to us. Those are the priorities. You know, everything else in our lives will be taken care of. So I want to keep making videos for you guys. I feel like this channel is something that I also want to prioritize this year, and I'm going to keep making videos. You can write in the comments and let me know what type of videos you want me to make. I'm happy to share my experiences, you know, to a certain extent. You know, I don't want to like hijack your own journey by sharing too much of what I go through in the specifics of programs, but comments, let me know what you think. Definitely subscribe and follow my channel, and I will see you in the next video. I hope you have a blessed day. Namaskar.